Hey, Johan, you still eating dinner? I got many here too, so.
Hi. Hey,
What's for dinner? Looks like
Hi,
chicken.
hmm,
So,
KFC.
oh, look at that. And we're
KFC.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. A lot of people in South
I'm,
Africa.
I'm, I'm
Kentucky Fried
literally eating on the run.
Yeah, that's
We
fine.
do know it stands for Kentucky Fried
Honey, it was a
Chicken.
joke.
So,
I can't make any South African jokes with my wife being in the
so
room.
Johan,
She'll correct me.
Laura and Louise are your guests.
Hmm.
Let me, Jaya. I've got Laura on there. Louise is also one of my guests.
Good, good,
Um,
good.
yeah, I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If everybody comes, we should have been very close to 20 people.
Okay, well, do me a favor. Make sure you shoot a message out to people right now because we're going to get started in just a minute.
I
So,
actually, I actually gave them each one of them a phone call.
okay, good, good.
Wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep, because I always tell people we're on right now, so jump on. So because sometimes people are going, oh, it's at this time. So got Irene that just jumped on.
Aha. Yes.
Brendan jumping on.
You should be.
Aha. It
Yeah,
should be, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Let me just call him quickly. I just want to call him.
Okay. Yeah. So I usually get started. Usually, even if people get on late, I always want to get started pretty much on time.
Yeah.
So we can share the information.
And then,
Oh, hello, hello.
There he is.
hello, Brandon.
Yes, hello, hello. Sorry about that. The Zoom was having a bit of issues, but please go ahead again.
Happy birthday to your
Girlfriend.
girlfriend,
Yes.
Brendan.
Oh, geez. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was actually quite an awesome day. Went for lunch and a bit of shopping, obviously.
Hmm.
Michaela.
And
Yeah.
yes, Michaela Iannetti.
Yeah,
There we go.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, very awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, super awesome day. This is even better to end the day off with. So
That's
I'm
great.
excited.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Johan's friends on Zoom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So Brendan, Greg, did you make Brendan co-host so that he can help you with the muting? Do you want to
Yeah, because Ben is only going to be here for a couple of minutes, and then she unfortunately she's got to go. So let me do that real
I
quick.
just want to say hi to everyone.
Yeah,
And I'm going to be in South Africa
he's leaving tomorrow. She'll be in Friday.
Saturday.
Well, Saturday
I'll be
officially.
there.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Brilliant job. Brendan told me about that. Saturday, I just
Yep.
might surprise you with my presence.
That's awesome.
I will. I actually arrive. I think I landed about 10 minutes past 10 on Friday.
Friday night. Yep.
So I will be really
She'll be
exhausted. So
having a good
Saturday's
night's sleep. Yes.
Saturday is my day to kind of catch up on sleep.
And then I'll be in a few weeks later. So yes. So
It's a bit late for a banner show and flags at the airport, but
I was gonna
yeah.
say I'm expecting that.
just so funny.
Oh my, oh
I'm
my
expecting that from my wife. Yeah, that's what. Anyway, so while we get started, so if you want to kind of kick us off, introduce, and then we can kind of at least the people that are on here. Some people might be getting on a little bit late. Feel free to text them and shoot them a message. Say, hey, we're on right now. So we got quite a few people on right now, so we can at least let them know about what we're doing.
Perfect. All right. First of all, I want to introduce Gregg Warmbier. He is our USA partner. He is a presidential director. Do I got that right?
Yeah, senior presidential director, but yeah.
Senior presidential director for LifeWave. And he's an expert on the X39 patches. He has gone from joining the This Is It team, from a starting member to a senior presidential director within 2 years. So Yes, yeah. Everybody, this is Gregg Warmbier, and thank you very much for taking time out of your day to actually speak to us.
Absolutely. And so I want to introduce my wife. My wife is Filomena, so also known as Mena.
Oh, yes, yeah. Sorry, Mena.
No, that's fine. No, but that's fine because
No. And I'm the reason why he is senior presidential director,
it's
just so
true.
that you know.
It's
No,
like
no,
the
no.
power behind the throne.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. But honestly, it's a pleasure to be here and have you all on the Zoom, and we believe everyone can do this. You know, everyone needs to experience the product, and everybody can share the product and help each other. And in helping one another, we all get to the top, you know.
Yes. Yep. And then this is being recorded. So later on, if you want to review any information, this is live on YouTube right now. I'll send this to you, Johan and Brendan, so you'll have that afterwards. But my wife's going to leave. She's got, unfortunately, she's still finishing packing because we're leaving tomorrow morning. She's leaving tomorrow morning for South Africa. So she just wanted to at least say hello.
Yeah, hi everyone, and I'll see you in South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm excited, obviously, to share when Johan explained, that, hey, he wants to share this with some friends, some different people. I don't know each of you individually yet, but obviously, if you know Johan, he's very genuine. Him and his wife are amazing, awesome people. I got a chance to get to know him through when we connected at a BNI. So Brendan and I were at a BNI. Brendan Duplessis is actually there in South Africa as well, in Benoni area, and we met at a BNI. And as soon as we started talking about this amazing technology, this stem cell activation patch, he leaned forward and goes, how do I get information on this? And Lily, that's very normal because that was me 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I was in I was in a lot of pain because back in 2016, I had a car accident that damaged my neck, my shoulder, my back. Someone plowed into the back of my car going, I guess it'd be about 85 kilometers an hour. I slammed into a van in front of me, so my car became an accordion, and unfortunately, so did my spine. So since 2016, I was in pain pretty much every single day, going to chiropractors, going to acupuncturists, going to every form of therapy you can possibly imagine, CBDs, essential oils, everything. Spending $400 to $500 a month on just treatments and different things to try to just keep moving forward. And then a couple of years later, developed a knee injury in a hiking incident that we did on 9/11/2021. 9/11 significant here in the U.S. and we took on a 5-story building and went up and down the building 18 times to represent the amount of stairs the firefighters climbed at 9/11. Unfortunately, I slipped and tripped and injured my knee, and then months later developed hip pain. And again, hip pain is not good. I'll just tell you right now, it's again another chronic thing. So I feel like this all the time. And so literally, I'm 54 today. At the age of 52, I felt like I was in my 60s or 70s. Since I put this patch on, 3 days later, no knee pain, no hip pain, no shoulder pain, no neck pain, no back pain. My whole life changed. I'm like, what in the world is this? Literally started changing other people's lives around the world. My wife and I have a business in 28 countries around the world because we can't stop sharing this. So we're all about kingdom business, we're all about helping people. This is just from our church. It was a shirt I was wearing today. But it's amazing. We just want to help people and bless people as much as we can. So really the main question that I always ask people is, what do you know about stem cells? And I get a wide variety of different answers. A lot of people are like, well, I know this, I know that. I just had a gal I just talked to. She said she just saved, in fact, the umbilical cord with the stem cells. She pays $200 a month to basically save it, have it cryogenically frozen, whatever, literally to save these stem cells for her children. And so she's spending a couple $100 a month just on that. I knew I was looking at stem cell injections, and I'd have to fly out of the country. It would have cost probably $30,000+ US to get stem cell injections to do the same thing. When I found out about this patch, and literally it took 10 years and $4.5 million worth of research and development to come out with this patch. And when they launched it in 2019, the company's taken off like a rocket ship, and I'll kind of explain that. But the part that I realized when I looked at this, there's no stem cells in this patch. It's basically, in fact, I'll peel the one off the back of my neck right now that I'm wearing. Literally, it's got what they call organic nanocrystals in it. You can hardly see that. Oh, that was nasty. There's a hair on there. That's great. Anyway, so organic nanocrystals, in there. And what it does, it basically holds a frequency that basically our heat and light hit the patch and reflect back into our body, activate what's called GHK copper peptides that activate our stem cells. I'm not a physician. I'm not a scientist. I've just done a lot of research on this afterwards. So when I take this and I put it in my body, I could put it anywhere. I could put it literally anywhere, but I got to put it back on my C7 on the back of my neck. That's where I've always worn it. I wear it 12 hours a day. And now what happens, basically it starts activating stem cells in my body. So what happens, my hair's thicker now, my hair's darker now. I used to have really, really, really gray hair. And now the gray hair is just on the sides, which is kind of cool. So I'm waiting for this to go away. So if you like that idea of actually getting younger, we're going to talk about a technology that actually does that. So I'm going to share my screen, but I'm going to actually pick on a few people that I can actually see. And please, if you want to take your camera off, that way I can kind of like say hello. That would be great. But I see, is it Bridget? Is that correct? So yeah, if you want to mute yourself for a second, do you know anything about stem cells, or do you know anything? Have you heard of stem cell, technology or anything like that?
I've heard of stem cells. I know about stem cells. I'm a physiotherapist by profession. So I was quite intrigued when I met Johan, and I just heard stem cells, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, I need to know
Yep.
about this," because it's interesting and it's generally extremely expensive to get any kind of stem cell therapy or anything like that. So I was very interested to come on and learn some more tonight.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And again, that's one thing we hear from a lot of people that have research. And again, it's in your profession, so you probably heard a lot bit more. But even lay people like myself did a lot of research on stem cells, didn't really understand how they all work. The one thing you're going to learn tonight a little bit more also about GHK copper peptides. You're going to learn a little bit more about some of the other things that it does as far as increasing collagen levels. I think everybody here would love that idea, especially 300-400% increase, decreasing inflammation, and things like that. So now, Louise, as I saw that you came off, so do you know much about stem cells? Are you familiar with like stem cells or stem cell therapy by any chance?
No.
Oop, I can barely hear you. Sorry, say that again.
Sorry.
There we go.
It would help if I've got the mic in front of my mouth.
It does, yes.
So I'm an accountant by trade,
Mhm.
so I don't know much about stem cells.
Mhm.
But when Johan spoke about what it can do for people, I was very interested to find out more.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then what's crazy is that for me personally, like I said, I didn't know. I knew some of the different benefits of it, and I just knew that again, I knew as you get older and older, I knew that the stem cells didn't work the same. I didn't realize that basically by the time you're 30, you have half the stem cell activity you had when you're younger. So you think about when you're a child, you have all these stem cells regenerating and actually making you grow. So you're basically, everything's growing, your body's growing, your organs are growing, your hair's growing, everything's growing. So what happens is that then you get to an age when you stop growing, and they start becoming dormant. So by the time you're 30, you have half the stem cell activity that you had when you were younger, and then by the time you're 60, you have 5 to 10% maybe. That is why people age. We don't heal the same way we used to. Why we walk into rooms and go, "Oh, what did I walk in here for?" I mean, it's crazy. We get older, and all these different things happen, the gray hair, the wrinkles, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing how things can change though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple different slides with you and explain a little bit about this amazing technology. The big thing that we try to share with people all the time is that with the patch itself, it's not on trial. The company's been around for 20 years now. The patch was launched in 2019 after starting in 2008. So it took 10 years, like I said, $4.5 million worth of research development to come out with this one patch. And what it does is it elevates GHK copper peptides, which is over 148 case studies on just PubMed.gov here in the United States, actually alone since the 1970s, talking about how they call the holy grail of anti-aging. What that does, one of the things it does is activate your stem cells, which regenerates your body. The one thing I didn't know was that the founder of the company wasn't ever interested in developing a business or doing anything else. He just wanted to create inventions. So he has a documentary being done for him right now. They're going to launch it next year, talking about his life and how he had other inventors that really influenced him. A lot of these different people like Thomas Edison and all these different people that talk about it, but even his father and grandfather were both inventors. And so now he's got over 130 patents. He's a scientist and inventor specializing in age reversing. Talk about thank God for people like this, right? I mean, we talk about, one thing, anti-aging is good, slow down the aging process, but we talk about age reversing, and I'll kind of explain a bit more about that. But in 2008, he focuses attention on stem cell research. Prior to that, he was working with Olympic athletes, and specifically 20 years ago, he was working with the Navy SEALs, working on products that actually a wearable technology, a very similar technology to help them actually have more energy, especially for 36 hours to stay alert during these critical missions that they were doing. And he created that back 20 years ago and then launched the company called LifeWave. And so in recent patent, like I said, took 10 years, $4.5 million to bring to market, which is pretty amazing. So my wife, who you just met a minute ago, she's an attorney in South Africa. So the first thing she said is, okay, let me research this. And when she saw the patent, she basically printed the whole patent, read the whole patent. And the one thing she highlighted, she said, you gotta understand, she goes, in the patents, I've never seen this before. So he did all these case studies prior to the patent. And basically in the patent, it says, embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells in the patent, improvements of energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, improved wound healing. Now, I'll tell you right now, a lot of people use multiple different products just to have some of these different things. Improvement in energy. Anybody ever drink energy drinks or take energy pills or supplements or powders or anything else, right? How many people drink coffee, right? All these kind of things we try to do improve energy. What about anything to help with antioxidants or reduction in inflammation? That's one of the biggest things the doctors say. This is the #1 anti-inflammatory they've ever seen, which is pretty amazing. So the company, it's been around now 20 years. I'd never heard of the company. 2 years ago, I'm like, LifeWave, what is that? Because at that time, it was basically just growing. It became a $20 million company, growing. But literally got to the point where last year it became a $430 million company. This year, it's going to be over 600 million, probably closer to 650 million. And it's going to be a $1 billion company next year. We're talking in US dollars. So the growth has been staggering. It's the fastest growing network in the entire world today. And literally the team that we're a part of is called This Is It Team, is the fastest growing team within LifeWave. So we've helped take the company from basically 20 million to basically now over 600 million this year. The good thing we love about it, it's open over 75 countries. So we've got business in South Africa, we got business in Europe and Australia and in New Zealand and all over the place. And again, we really are looking to expand dramatically in South Africa. And that's a reason why Johan is partnered with us, Brendan's partnered with us. And so we're looking for brand partners who want to help us take this to the masses, because again, the company is going to become a multi-billion-dollar company. And we have a huge heart for South Africa. My wife's born and raised in South Africa, so that's why we're there. Her whole family's there. So the part that I love about it too, from a business standpoint, it's not a Me Too product. There's a lot of different things out there, like, Bridget, probably the, different products out there, like the CBDs and the essential oils and the skincare and the weight losses and all the different stuff, the nutritional supplements, a lot of things like that. But when we talk to people about a stem cell activation patch, the normal thing is exactly what Johan did, what Bridget kind of said, stem cells, what is it? How does it work? And so that's what we hear from people. So today we now have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people on our team, because we talk to people, because it's such a product that people are looking for, and it really makes a big difference. So some of the things that we mentioned before is, once again, like I mentioned, at the age of 30, if only half the stem cells are active, and at the age of 60, you lose almost your stem cell activity. But hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging. I was one of them. I mean, I'm sitting there going, why in the world am I not recovering like I used to? So this is a form of phototherapy. So if you know much about like red light therapy or different types of light therapy, here in Florida, same thing in Johannesburg, in South Africa, there you guys experience, you got a beautiful sunshine there all the time. So literally when the sun comes out and basically hits our skin is our biggest organ. When the sun rays hit our skin, it elevates things in our body. Most people are familiar with vitamin D, right? They know you increase vitamin D from the sun. Well, the sun's not pushing out vitamin D. It's pushing out frequency of light that interacts with our skin, and God's created us to basically, generate and activate different things in our body. Well, this does the same thing. It's got the patented nanocrystal technology in there that reflects our own light to activate. So what happens? It hits the patch, reflects back in to our body. So it's non-transdermal. Nothing goes to the body. I can wear the patch on the outside of my skin, outside of my shirt if I want to. It doesn't have to be on the skin. There's no drugs, there's no chemicals, it's non-invasive, but it literally reflects our own heat and light. So I always think about, imagine if I had two magnets and I stuck them together, they'd stick all day long. But if I flip one of the magnets over, they repel each other. That's kind of how this works. It repels the light, pushes it back in, and that's how things happen. But the one thing my wife usually raises, but LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. So again, the patch doesn't do anything. It just helps us, our own body, to do the things it needs to do. Just like the same thing, if you drink lots of good water, the water itself doesn't heal you. It just helps hydrate you, which in the hydration helps you actually become healthier, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to share a couple different things as far as some results and some different testimonials, but this is one of them that was amazing to me. because he did all these brain scans, and these brain scans specifically, they call it topography of the brain of this woman. This is just one of dozens of different ones that they've done. Participant was 77 years old, placed the X39 on the back of her neck, and that's all she did. Didn't change anything else. So prior to putting the patch on, you can see all the reds and the oranges and the bright colors here in session 1. She had inflammation in the brain. The red is basically inflammation. And once again, they talk about lack of brain coherence. They said basically when she came in, her brain was hyperactive. Basically her brain calmed down dramatically after the second visit in session 2. Well, in session 2, 3 weeks later, what's missing? The red, the inflammation is gone. This is what happens in our body. Our body has a tendency to reduce and remove inflammation, and we can give you tons of testimonials in regards to that alone. But no more inflammation, improved brain coherence. And another 3 weeks later, total of 6 weeks, complete turnaround. As you can tell now, what this is, the way that he explains the topography, and I've studied this ever since, is that once again, this is what a balanced brain looks like. So it basically, now the person's got a balanced brain, and we've been able to help people with things like Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, all types of even things like PTSD, things like every kind of autoimmune disease reversing, because our body goes naturally into homeostasis, which is pretty cool. So the one thing that, hold on a second.
I didn't bring the Coke.
There we go. So just muting. There we go. So the one thing that we share with people all the time is that every body reacts different, because every body is different. Some people notice something. Mine was 3 days later. I noticed significant things. Since then, I've got over 20 things, including, like I mentioned, thicker hair, better focus, better energy, better sleep. And we'll talk more about that. Some of the things that I could have pages and pages and pages of some of the benefits, but this is just some of them. Increased strength. And as we get older, this is very important. We use this for performance athletes as well. They love this product. Reduced inflammation. As you know, that's a root cause of most disease. Increased stamina. Energy and vitality is huge. I mean, again, just having natural energy is fantastic. Mental clarity. That was something I had a challenge with. I don't know if any of you have had COVID, or actually had families that went through COVID. This long COVID, what they talk about with basically brain fog and things like that. A couple weeks using the patch, I felt like I walked out of a cloud. It's the only way I can explain it. My mental clarity and focus and productivity is through the roof now. So that's one thing that's great, is if you like the idea of being more productive, this will help you become more productive, because that balanced brain is amazing what happens when you go to homeostasis. Restored muscle and skeletal conditions. I went to my chiropractor because I went to him every single Monday. I canceled my Monday appointment because on Friday, prior to that, was actually when I had no pain. I canceled the appointment on Monday. I pushed it back a week. They said, "Oh, you can come in on Thursday if you want." I said, "No, I'll see you next Monday." When I went there, I gave my chiropractor a big bear hug. He goes, "How are you doing?" I said, "Phenomenal. I have no pain." He goes, "What?" I said, "Are you familiar with this?" He said, "What is that?" I said, "It's a stem cell activation patch." He's like, "Oh, tell me more." And after about 20 minutes, I showed him the website on my phone. I showed him all the different stuff. About 20 minutes, he talks about how this is going to change people, help people, everything else. He goes, "Well, your body's not going to lie to me." So I got on the table like I normally do, and he tried to, he's checking for places that he could adjust. He goes, "Greg, this is crazy." After like 10 minutes, he goes, "Greg, you're in perfect homeostasis." He goes, "Are you cheating on me?" Because he thought I was maybe went to another chiropractor or something. So you talked about restored muscle and skeletal conditions. That's what happened to me within literally week and a half. So when you understand what happens, there's pretty amazing. So my neck was still stiff. I couldn't turn my neck all the way, but about 5-6 weeks later, I had full mobility in my neck, because I even showed that with him. He said, "Well, that'll take time." He said, "Just like anything else, the stem cells are going to start repairing everything." My knee was being repaired. My hip was being repaired. Everything was being repaired. So improvement in sleep is another one. I would love to say everybody sleeps very, very well. My wife didn't. I slept okay. But she's like, "How do you just fall asleep?" I'm like, "Because I'm exhausted." When you're in a lot of pain, you crash, right? And so I was taking ibuprofen and all kinds of stuff. Well, now her sleep is amazing. She knows that a couple weeks later, she started dreaming again. She started, I could have her tell a testimony, but again, it's amazing how her whole life is different now, because now she has a deep REM sleep is what you want, instead of having that shallow sleep and not getting a lot of sleep. Improvement in skin appearance. This is huge. When I talk about collagen levels increasing, you'll see on the next slide, it's pretty amazing. So we talk about achieving optimal health, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And when we talk about that, this is what everybody's looking for. And this is something that helps enhance that. So this is the one slide that I'll share with you, and then I'll share a couple testimonials, and then I'll kind of explain a little bit more from an opportunity standpoint. But there's all these case studies on thisisitinfo.com. So I don't know if Johan shared that with you, but you're going to want to write that down. Thisisitinfo.com is where you can find all this information. Once again, the one thing that's pretty amazing is that all of a sudden they've done, they realize this also resets genes. Now, again, when you talk about that, I've heard of resveratrol that's in red wine. And when you drink red wine, they talk about it also resets genes. It resets 2 genes. This resets over 4,000 genes. Now, again, they prove it scientifically. I'm not a scientist. You can look at the different studies itself. But what happens is they start becoming into a healthier state. When they talk about, Lily making your body healthy, that's one of the first things it does. Within 6 weeks, like we show in the one thing, your brain becomes balanced. We've had other people that within a few weeks, they notice that their mental clarity is absolutely amazing. Mine was the same way within a couple of weeks. Within 3 months, collagen levels increased 300 to 400%. So when you understand the numbers on it, it's staggering what happens. Like I said, my hair is thicker now. My skin, my wife's hair, the hairdresser's like, what in the world are you doing? She couldn't believe how fast her hair is growing and how healthy it is, including your skin and everything else. But collagen's really important for the whole body, if you understand how important collagen is. And so my wife used to drink collagen shots. She doesn't have to do that anymore. Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. Again, the studies they've done, they said that on average in 6 months is 8 years younger. All these people that we know with all cardiovascular, in fact, it's the number one issue in the world today is obviously heart disease. And so when we talk to you about this, we've seen heart reversing like we've never seen anything like this. We've got cardiovascular surgeons, we've got all kinds of doctors and heart doctors are basically going, I've never seen anything reverse your heart like this. It's your heart, your basically your cardiovascular systems get younger. So that's why David Schmidt says this, and this is just some examples. This is not anti-aging, it's age reversing. That's a pretty bold statement. But again, when you understand all the study they've done, it's proven it over and over and over again. So the more you research this, the more you go, oh my goodness. So how we wear the patch, very simple. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I put mine on at 9 a.m. this morning. I'll take it off at 9 p.m. tonight. It's now 1:30 here in the U.S. in Florida. We live just outside of Tampa, Florida. But again, you put the patch on 12 hours a day. At night tonight, I'm going to take it off, throw it out, put a new patch on the next day, and just do the same thing over and over. And then just drink lots of good water. The reason we recommend that is because you need minerals to help in the detox process. So we always recommend, instead of purified water, South Africa is a lot better than the U.S. You could buy spring water, a lot of things like that. Well, spring water's got the minerals it needs. Purified water is good, except it strips out everything, including the minerals. So we always recommend adding, electrolytes, adding different things to the water or to your diet so that you can actually help mineralize. That's a big challenge we have here in the United States today. And again, you can more than one patch at a time, but one will do. And just like I said, drink plenty of water. So I'm going to share a couple different testimonials real quick, and then I'll answer some questions, and then we'll talk a little bit more from a business of what we're doing, expanding there. But the one thing, it is a very sophisticated product. It's very simple from an application standpoint. If you can use a plaster, you can peel and stick, and that's all it is. Like I mentioned, it's Lily, and it sticks very, very well. It's got the medical grade adhesive. I literally take it, put it on, take it off. Lily 12 hours later. But I just leave it on all day. But the testimonials are life-changing. I've had so many testimonials. We get now thousands of testimonials personally of people that we know that literally we know this product absolutely works. The thing that we do tell people is that a lot of doctors have jumped on board. So even on the website, we got now probably 10, 12, 15 different doctors just sharing their testimonials of how they've seen their patients and also themselves see differences. Adam Shiner is actually a doctor, a laser plastic surgeon here in Tampa, Florida, and he talked about the healing properties of this. He goes because of all the different healing things he studied, he's like, I bet this is going to help with what he does with plastic surgery. Well, the plastic surgery they use lasers to remove layers of skin and heal the body, but it takes basically 6 to 8 weeks, so a month and a half to 2 months to basically recover from the procedures that he does. So what he said, I bet if we use this patch, prior to, we're probably going to get some good results. Well, now they use it 30 days prior. Every single patient says, if you work with me, part of the protocol is you must wear this patch 12 hours a day, on and off, basically for 30 days. Basically a sleeve comes with 30 patches, so it's a 1 month supply. And so he sends them a sleeve. It's part of their protocol. And what happens is that now the recovery time is 7 to 10 days. Think about that for a second. Think about 6 to 8 weeks compared to 7 to 10 days. So a week to a week and a half instead of 6 to 8 weeks. So he said he talks about this in his video he's got on YouTube and talks a lot about it. Another person we have on our channel or on our website is actually Dr. Leland Stillman. He's an expert in light therapy. So he understands light therapy. And he even said, even on the interview, he's like, what is this little tiny patch going to do? Is what he thought. And so he said, you know what, I'll do my research, look at it. And he saw the research and goes, that's intriguing. Well, let me try it with some of my clients, because it hit him. He said, wait a minute, I got this very high level, intense light therapy that he does for short periods of time, usually 10, 15, 20 minutes. Where this, he said, it's worn 12 hours a day. So it's low level therapy for a long period of time. He goes, I bet it'll work real well in conjunction together. Well, he was blown away. He was like, this works better than anything he's ever used, and it works extremely well with everything that he does. And his practice is blown up because people are coming in from all over the world to utilize what he's found out, which is pretty cool. Other things, you look at age reversing. This is an example. I could show hundreds of these, but here's a person, and I recommend you doing the same thing. If you start using this product, take a picture day one. Once again, a month and a half later. Basically a year later, you look at the difference. Now again, I don't know if you can see the difference on that. I can. To me, she looks like a younger sister. Well, this is what she looks like now. So if you like the idea of age reversing, I'm like, that looks like a daughter to me. But again, it's the same person, no changes, no nothing else, no surgeries, no nothing. It's just using this patch. Other people, here's an example of someone who actually was working in the rafters, fell through the ceiling, broke 6 ribs, punctured his lung. Literally extreme discomfort is the word they use. I think it's a little bit more than that. I use a P word for pain. Anyway, but expected recovery was 6 weeks minimum. He was back to work within 3 weeks because he was using the X39. So look at the deep purple colors here. Look, literally, not much longer, but look at within 13 days, less than 2 weeks. He, again, pretty much gone. He's back to work within 3 weeks. This is not normal. I'll tell you that right now. So any of you that's seen people that have, especially, the older you go, the more you're bruising, but people with skin conditions. This is just an example of what happens with skin conditions. And literally within several weeks, the skin, my wife had this exact same thing. She had red, itchy skin. She didn't like me holding her hand. And now when we go to church, we're holding hands. When we go shopping, we're holding hands. I'm a very happy boy because I love holding my wife's hand. So because it was very irritated, now actually much better. This is not her hand, by the way. So it was someone else's hand. So, but you talk about other things. I was just talking to someone today, and they said this baggage here is a lot of times has to do with liver challenges. And I didn't know that. I'm like, I'm not a doctor, but we've had several people talk about, they call them festoons, but basically I call it baggage, right? It just looks like bad. But you look at it, it didn't happen overnight. This is November 16th, 2022, February 2024, but look at the difference. I mean, again, we just have so many examples. This is one that talk about alopecia. This is a very good friend of ours that we go to church with. Always was wearing hats, wearing wigs. Literally, I'm like going, man, she's got different hairstyles all the time. Didn't realize she had all these different wigs because she was very embarrassed about, obviously, her hair falling out. Well, she heard about the product. My wife told her about the product. She goes, I'll try anything. And within weeks, she knows her hair started growing back. This is 6 months later. So if you look at the difference here, it's a pretty staggering difference by comparison, because they call this autoimmune. So what happens is the doctor's like, well, try this, try this, try this. She tried everything, including steroid injections and all kinds of stuff. Everything she tried, and just nothing worked. Well, guess what happened? Tiny little patch helped her get into homeostasis, and her body started naturally healing and actually growing hair naturally again. She looks amazing now. She's beautiful, fantastic. So again, I could go on and on and on, but I do want to have Johan. I didn't prep you for this, but I wanted to say I wanted you to kind of share for a second what you've seen, Johan, so far. You've been using the patch for a little bit, and I'd like for you to share so you can let your friends know, what you've experienced yourself, if that's okay. And you got to unmute yourself. Sorry. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. I'm
I can
back
hear
on
you.
the air.
Yes,
Great
perfect.
stuff. All right, so on my side is I'm now on day 62. The reason why I'm wearing this on my sleeve, on my arm, and not behind my neck or 2 fingers below the belly button is for one simple reason. This is my business card to health. So I am diabetic too. My biggest problem is one day on my way from work to home, all of a sudden it looked like I was driving in the rain without my wipers on. My eyesight has just gone completely berserk. And went to my doctor. He says, no, you've got diabetes too. So, okay, what now? The medication part, it took us at least close to 3 months to find the right medication combo. So after using the patch, as I say, I'm now day 62. I was 2 weeks on the patch when I helped a friend remove a big sliding gate off its track, and I was using a pick handle in order to pick the gate up to move it. I had to interlock my fingers. The problem is with diabetes too is at some stage during this, you start bruising very easily. To such an extent, when I was finished picking up the gate, it looked like I had a permanent birthmark on my fingers. This is how purple my fingers turned, because my arteries and capillaries actually burst due to the fact that my side walls of my arteries and veins were so weakened by the diabetes. So normally my recovery time when I do bruise is anything between 5 to 7 weeks before my skin returns to normal. As I said, I was 2 weeks on the patch, and within 8 days, my skin was cleared completely. That's the one side. The other side is because diabetes affect your eyesight. I had to get glasses. I am now, my eyesight was focused to a certain distance because of the type of work I did. So I could see 2-3 meters ahead, but to read, I had to use glasses. And then when I drive a vehicle, I had to use my glasses. Now, as I say, I'm day 62. I am no longer using glasses for driving, only for reading. That is amazing. And one of the other things is because I used to sit 12 hours a day, whenever my hips were lower than my knees and I got up, the first few steps was I looked like a duck out of water. It looked extremely funny. I'm now getting up without even noticing that I'm getting up. I just get up and I walk. I've got no more hip pain whatsoever. That's just 3 things in my life that happened in the past 62 days. That's why I told Greg and Brandon, guys, you want to keep me quiet? You have to tape my mouth. I can't stop talking about this product. It's just amazing, I'm telling you. And that's my story, Greg. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
That's awesome. And again, I can't wait to see again. We just saw each other a few months ago when we were in South Africa. We had actually won a free trip from a company to the Greek islands. We had a Greek island cruise we won, and they gave us some money for a plane tickets. And it was like either use or lose it. I had with the extra money that we flew to South Africa afterwards and spent time with Brendan and Johan and everybody else. It was absolutely wonderful. So I'm so glad you're doing fantastic, because that's what we're hearing all the time. And when you do tell people you want to do at least a 90-day run, the reason why is because 97% of all the studies they've done, literally people get significant differences within 90 days. So 97% in 90 days. Now, again, the rule of thumb is how many decades that you've been alive is how many months you should be using the patch basically to do that. So for me, I'm 52 or 54 now. I was 52. I should use it 5 to 6 months to basically notice the full difference. And I've been using the patch now for 2 years, and I still get amazing results. And it's just even better workouts, better recovery from workouts. Everything else is just absolutely amazing.
No.
So,
Greg, if I can jump in here quickly. Brandon, could you just explain the benefits of the health tracker for us?
awesome. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So the benefits of the health tracker. So just like everybody saw, Johan actually told us that today is day 62 of him in his lifeway journey, right? So it's very important that we all have to make sure that when you start anything new, whether you start going to the gym, whether you start a new diet, whether you start a new product, it's very important that you have to track any improvements that you're having, right? And most of the time, someone will start using the X39 patch because they have a reason, right? Maybe the mental clarity spoke to them. They want to feel what natural mental clarity feels like. They maybe want to feel what natural energy, sustained energy feels like. They'll have one core thing that is drawing them to maybe try LifeWave. So what happens is that if you are constantly tracking that main thing, plus we give you the other areas that you might need to just at least take a look at and at least observe those areas so that at least you're staying informed, right? Not many people are very in touch with their body. So having a health tracker that we provide you that also gives you a nice little overview of what the technology is, how it works, how long until you start seeing results, how much you wear it, all of these amazing, it's a nice little info sheet. You have all of that. We provide that to you, and you can continuously track your benefits that start happening, because just like Johan just mentioned, this is a benefit that you can't just immediately track. But along with all the energy and the mental clarity that does start coming, focusing on these improvements definitely help you understand that this is a real thing, and it makes it easier to continue, if you want to say, using it, because if you know that something is working, you don't want to stop it. But lots of people make the mistake to stop it because they think maybe it's not making that big of a difference. But when you have a 1% improvement every day, how big of a difference are you going to feel? You're not going to feel that difference. You have to be committed. I mean, you can do 6 sit-ups right now and you're not going to have a six-pack. But if you do at least 6 sit-ups 6 times a day for a year, you're probably going to have a six-pack. And all we are asking for is just 90 days. At least try it for 90 days if you're interested in the product. But just like Greg said, we're going to get into the next part, but there are franchise opportunities. Just like what Johanny is doing right now, he had an amazing testimonial, a story to share. Why don't you want to share your story with other people? We want you to first have your story. We're not expecting you to go out there and be we call it a PP. Don't be a PP, a patch pusher. We want you to just share your story with people on a genuine level, because that is actually what's important here. If you have something that's helping someone, why do you keep quiet about it? So that's all I have to say. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
Brandon. Greg, back to you.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, because it's true. The same thing. We don't normally track things, but when you do, it's even when you track calories, track your workouts, everything else. It's amazing the results that you see. But the one thing, like you mentioned, is that that's why we tell people, give it time. Every body is different. You want to give yourself time, just like anything we change. But the thing is that the company itself has its own website, but our team is known as This Is It Team. The reason why is because a couple that we work with, Steve and Gina Merritt, Lily, he was a water ski basically instructor, but he had been a professional water skiing for decades. Lily had 13 different surgeries, had aches and pains, all his body, taking a handful of pain pills every day, not the heavy kind, but like ibuprofen and stuff like that he was using, but still it's not good for you. And Lily, within a week, his pain was gone. His wife's like, this is it. This is what we've been praying for. They'd actually built businesses in the past. They made over $65 million building teams in the same kind of industry. And Lily jumped on this, and Lily then now the fastest growing team in the world. So they put together a website, This Is It Info. And we recommend watching the first few videos. The 4th video down is from Dr. Leon Stillman. But if you keep on scrolling down, you'll see all the different information on the patents. You'll see the information from medical doctors section. Even now they're adding sports athletes. Just found out Mike Tyson, the boxer, is using our patches now, which is pretty amazing. So it's kind of cool. You hear about some of these different things. He's been using that for his training for his bout that's coming up, which is pretty cool. They said he's in phenomenal shape, and they said this has helped tremendously. So all the thing you'll see on the website is all the different testimonies. So you'll see the different ones on here, and you can click on the different ones for mental clarity, the different ones for sleep. And these are all video testimonials that you think you'll really like. These are very emotional. I'll tell you that right now. So I tell people, when you watch them, understand lives have changed. I get emotional talking to people about this because, again, my life has changed so much, and we've seen Lily hundreds of personal close friends and family lives change because of something we shared with them, which has been amazing. So the one thing I'm going to do is shift real quick to talk a little bit more from a business standpoint, because I want you to understand we are expanding very rapidly. The company's the fastest growing network in the entire world today. But really, if you look at the screen here, there's certain words that mean different things to different people. Right. And so the biggest question is I always think of, when you think about family, you think about, time with people that you love. I'm like, who do you love? Because that's really what we do, is we want to share this with people that we care about. And that's one thing that Johan said, hey, I'm going to share this with everybody I know. He said, even if I meet somebody in a grocery store, I'm going to share it with them no matter what, right? But the funny thing for me was that the number one word for me is family. My wife is from South Africa. Her whole family's in South Africa. This will be the 3rd trip back to South Africa this year. Normally, when I worked my job, I couldn't do that. And Lily, the time became very, very important. And so Lily, 2 years ago, the number one word for me was freedom, because I was working a job where we had basically, I would say, like mentors and stuff like that, people that were basically coaches and mentors within the company. Well, they became tormentors. That's the only word I can use. It's not a good thing. They tracked every single thing that we did and put it against us. They used a program called Salesforce, and they tracked every single thing. And at the point where I'm like going, this is not good. And literally got to the point where I wanted freedom. Well, I saw the business right on that same time, and literally within 14 months replaced my income, my six-figure income, and two months later fired my job. So on January 6th of 2024, I fired my job, literally walked in the land of living. I actually extended my vacation 3 weeks in South Africa. I got a chance to meet Brendan, a bunch of other people, and we started really developing the business there in South Africa. So for a lot of people, other words are security. Security, I'm not talking about barbed wires and fences and gates. I'm talking about financial security. When they talk about the number one need of women is security. That's the number one need that most women have, and that's what we provide. Once again, financial security. Travel is another thing that we've got a chance to do. We've won 5 free incentive trips this year. This has just been very uncommon. We had 2 team trips, but the company every year has 2 different incentive trips, and they had a third one last year because it was a 20-year anniversary where they did the Greek island cruise. That was a dream trip, and it was all paid for. Everything was paid for. We were in Italy for extra days and then flew to South Africa for 3 weeks afterwards because we had time. To me, that's huge. We talk about better health. That's the number one thing for you. You could have all the wealth in the world, but if you don't have your health, you'll end up spending your wealth trying to get back your health, right? So you want to have better health, but of course, other things we talked to you about is less debt. Imagine no debt. It's a I don't even call it a plandemic, but it's a plandemic here in the U.S. They want people to keep people in debt, and it's not good. It's a very toxic thing. So we're almost debt free now, and our goal is helping other people become totally debt free. So whatever's important to you, I want you to think about that for a minute, because I'm going to share an opportunity with you that can help you. Actually, if you think about it, if you say, I like the idea of making some extra money, if we could help you make even extra 20,000 Rand on a monthly basis, would that make an impact on your household? What if we could help you, look, we're helping Brendan right now, same with Johan, to make about 20,000 Rand per week. That's where we're going. So if you like that idea of actually making that kind of money and a whole lot more, that's what we're talking about. So again, how we did this is build the company's the now number one momentum ranked team in the world. Literally, the momentum rank is number one now from perbusinessforhome.org, and a lot of other publications talked about that. Our company won the number one growing company by what they call the direct sales news. They actually have an award they do. They basically track the last 4 years, and the company that's grown the fastest in the past 4 years wins the award. They said it's the first time they ever had a company that was almost 20 years old that won this award. Because again, most times they're startups. When you start at zero and you grow quickly, you can obviously get an award like that in 4 years. Well, tracking 16 to 20, 16 years to 20 years to get number one growth company is unheard of. And so the couple we work with, Steve and Gina Merritt, like I said, they're world renowned. They're very well known about building teams, building networks. They're the most hardworking, ambitious, phenomenal people I've ever met. And they're Christians. They love the Lord. They love helping people. And that's what they do. This is their mission. This is their life, is to help as many people as possible. They're our mentors now. They're mentoring us and our whole team. And Lily, it's going to be awesome because you're going to get a chance to get to know them as well. So the company itself, the green line was the sales in 2023. You can see the growth. The blue line is our actual, like I said, our actual line for the team itself. These numbers have gone dramatic, and we've grown over 200 million in this past year, to give you an idea how fast things are going. And how we make the money and how the money is earned, there's 4 ways that we make money. And the one is by doing what they call a network. And so you might be familiar with like the term networking or network marketing or different terms like that. People use direct sales, things like that. Well, that's the founder didn't even want to do that. He said he just wanted to get this out in people's hands, but realized that the ways he made the connections to the Navy SEALs, to the Olympic athletes, to all the different business people he partnered with, was through people who knew people by word of mouth marketing. Then when he found out about the industry, he goes, you know what, I really want to market this because this product needs to be explained. We can't just throw out an infomercial or do whatever. We need to have people answer questions, go over stuff like that. So what happens is you get started, you actually get the product at the wholesale price as a brand partner. And as a brand partner, now what happens, we build a right team and we build a left team. This is known as what they call a binary. And I never built a binary before, but I love it. They said a binary is beautiful. I think it's also bountiful because we've never made this kind of money in our entire lives. And what's amazing about this is that as you put people in on the right and as you put people on the left, the people above you, Johan and Brendan, will actually put people underneath. We put people underneath you. So what happens is that you start having people above you putting people underneath you. But by you just doing this duplicatable for people, so you say I'm putting 2 in on the right, 2 on the left, and just duplicating this over and over and over again, that's how things are made. So by just having 2 people on the right, 2 people on the left, now what happens is this is known as a manager, and you can make up to $1,500 US per week as a manager. It doesn't start there; it grows from there. But if you think about it from a business standpoint, you look at it from a standpoint of from a business, is that you can actually make, in this case, 30,000 rand on a weekly basis, can grow from there, because again, it's going to continue to grow, because these people people who know people. Well, what happens is this person says, I want to be a manager. You find people like Johan says, I want to be a manager. Now what happens is that you now have a manager on the right, manager left. You become a director. You make up to $2,500 a week, and it grows from there. It goes up and up and up to the point where you can make up to $25,000 a week from just this one way. This is one of 4 ways that you make money. So we actually hit the manager pretty quickly. Then we hit director. Then we hit senior directors, basically having 2 directors, one on the right, one on the left. We became a senior director. I tell people all the time, this is how you're making over 20,000 rand per week, is as a senior director. That's typically the minimum where you start making that kind of money as senior director. Then we became an executive director. This is a 6-figure income all day long. We started making about 3,000 to 4,000 a week at this level here, and then we became 6 weeks later hit presidential director, and then we've now hit the senior presidential director. It's just a title, doesn't mean anything more than that, but just opens up the compensation to as much money as we want to make. So the great part about this, our business is booming, it's growing like crazy, but we are helping a lot of people start from zero, just like we did, and help them move up the ranks and start making a lot more money. So if you like the idea of that, if you say, wow, that's too big for me to think, that's $1.3 million a year just from that alone. Now, some people are like, well, that seems like a lot. Well, let's focus on helping you make an extra 20,000 rand a month. Let's start there. Because if we can help you do that, then your belief might go, you know what, if I help more people, I might be able to make a little bit more. And that's exactly what we're doing. So the second way is unlimited. And I'm not going to go through all the details of this. I just want you to understand that literally what happens is that my personal goal, again, is once again to help Brendan. He's our first level here. We personally sponsored Brendan. Once again, we want to help Brendan do what? We want to help him make $25,000 a week. Why is that? Because a company compensates us and pays us 25% of his income coming in the binary. So if he makes $1,000 a week, we're making $250 a week. If we help make 10,000 a week, we're making 2,500 a week, right? And it just grows and grows and grows. Well, what happens is that he's personally sponsored Johan. So what do we want to do? So Johan, we want to help him do what? We want to help Johan make $25,000 a week eventually, right? So our goal is to help him get to 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 and 5,000 a week. Why? Because we get 20% of that. Brendan's very happy because he gets 25%. Then what happens when Johan introduces us to Louise and Melissa and everybody else who's on here right now, our goal is to help you do what? We want to help you make as much money as possible. That's going to happen overnight? No, but it takes time. But what if in the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months, we help him make an extra $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week? You pick the number. We're going to help you do that. That's why, because when we help you do that, we get a percentage. But in reality, people are making more money than anything I've ever seen. The couple we work with, Steve and Gina America, are making over $100,000 a week. The person who brought me in, Ken Burke, started a month before we did. He started August of 2022. We started September 22. He's now making over $30,000 a week. Now, if you understand the kind of income that can be made, it's pretty staggering. So I wanted to let you know the money's available on a product that really works. It's changing people's lives. And it's not like we're selling some wonder powder. You know what I mean? It's a real technology that works. The more you research it, the more you go, oh my goodness, give me that product. I want to use it for myself, my family, my friends, everything else. So to finish up, how we get this product is very simple. It's distributed in 80 countries around the world. They have a distribution center right there outside of Pretoria, I believe is what it is. But the product is actually delivered within 2 to 3 days via courier guy. It's pretty awesome. So what happens is you can pay retail, which is $150, kind of hard to see up here, but $150 basically at the retail price, but we get to everybody at the wholesale price. So when I get a wholesale, you got to buy at least 3 sleeves. And so it's really a 90 supply anyway, but it's $295. So figure that at the Rand right now is about 18 to 1. So figure that out as far as approximately for what the Rand is. But this is where people say, I just want to try the product. We've had a lot of people say, give me the biggest pack in South Africa. Like, I don't care what it is. They look at the investment because we help them make that money back pretty quickly. But what happens if people say, I can't do the biggest pack, I'll get 6 sleeves, because what you want to do is you want it for yourself, but you want to also, when someone says, I want to get this product, what we do is someone's close to us, like Johan's close to some people there, he's able to say, tell you what I'll do. If you get started, I will lend you one of my sleeves until your product comes in. Sometimes it only takes 2 or 3 days, but again, for us in the States, it takes 5 to 7 days. So I give someone a sleeve, and then when their product comes in, they give it back. We call it a place and replace. So I give them a sleeve with them. They can start using the product that day, and literally when the product comes in, we meet up again, and then they literally give me a product back. So with like Johan with BNI, we do that all the time. I meet with people at a BNI. The next week I meet them at the BNI again, and then we just exchange. So we bought the biggest pack, us personally. This is the least expensive business we've ever started. To give you an idea, $17 or $50 might seem like a lot of money, but compared to owning a traditional business, I don't know, as far as, the CPA that's on here, if she understands, again, how much people are spending. I'm sure she does. As far as on businesses, it's a lot of money. But within 2.5 weeks, just by doing the place and replacing and getting it back and forth, we made our money back in 2.5 weeks. We were in the black in 2.5 weeks. By the end of the month, we were made almost $3,000 that very first month. Now, can we promise that for everybody? No, but I was very passionate. Johan, he's gonna do the exact same thing because he can't stop talking to people. That's like us. We have to share this. We feel a social responsibility to share this with people. The other part is in being on monthly auto ship. This is a one-time purchase. And again, you can always even upgrade. You say, hey, I want to get the product a little bit cheaper. Like if you spend $295 here, upgrade, you get 3 more sleeves for only $240. So that's only $80 a sleeve. So there's different things you can do. But we went on 2-sleeve auto ship. So what happens, no matter where you start, you want to get set up on auto ship because you want to start utilizing the product for yourself automatically. So we spent $17.50 one time, and now our monthly expense is $200. I get a sleeve, my wife's gonna sleeve. I don't touch her sleeve, she doesn't touch my sleeve, right? So what's cool about this is that all we're doing is allowing other people to share in this. We don't have to worry about delivery, we don't have to worry about inventory, we don't have to worry about anything else. We don't have to do anything except for just get people registered, and we help them do that with a simple order form, and that's pretty simple. So what happens is there's usually 3 different types of choices that people make. Number 1 is someone says, you know what, or I'll say number 3. And number 3 is someone who says, you know what, I'm not really interested. I'm glad I saw this. Thank you, Johan, for this. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm not looking at this product, nice or whatever. That's very rare. I mean, literally 9 out of 10 people we talk to today are very interested in one form or another. Number 2 would be someone who says, you know what, I'm interested in the product. Let me try the product, and who knows, I might be interested or might know some people, down the road. Great. We have people do that, but we have a lot of people say, I'm a number 1 and I want to launch this business. What do I do? So we call it a 3, 2, 1 launch. We can't read minds, so please let us know. Just let Johan know as soon as we get off the Zoom. Text him, shoot him a message, say I'm a 3, a 2, or a 1. Just be honest. And again, if you're a 3, we might still send you some information. Just might say, you know what, that might not be good for me, but can you send me some more details? So 2 might be the same way and say, I want to order the product. Can I get whatever pack that works best for you? And then 1 says, I'm interested in all of it. Can I get launched? How does that work? And that's what we'll get you launched. And we got people tonight that even with Brenda and myself will help you get launched tonight. It takes only 5 minutes to get you registered. And what happens in reality is that, going back to this, is that when you register, all of a sudden we're putting people underneath you. So it's called first movers advantage. That's what happened for us. So as soon as we signed up, all these other people got started getting put underneath us. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I started now instead of, months from now, right? So it was pretty cool. So the last thing I'll share with you is that the website for the team is This Is It Team. It goes over the compensation, goes over the information, everything else. This business is not on trial. They open it up for everybody. So you can take a look at the This Is It info that goes over all the product information, and This Is a Team. So you get the chance to meet the team, get to hear this from some of the other people. But right now, like I said, the business is in momentum. It's growing like crazy. We're going to become $1 billion company next year. And again, we're going to help people do that and really want to expand out in South Africa. You're going to hear more and more about this over the next couple of years. And you're going to say, I'm so glad I did, or I wish I would have. I'd rather say I'm so glad I did, right? So last thing on this is that we got a system in place on what we do is expose this to people on a daily basis. We follow with people, revisit with people, and there's an opportunity. So there's a whole training in this, a mentorship program, training people. And I'll leave it back to Johan to get back to you, but to say, so I don't know if Johan feels that he's been supported well enough, but between me and Brendan, we pretty much talk to Johan all the time. So I appreciate you allowing me to get on. I apologize for talking so quickly. I'm just very excited, and it's hard for me to retain or hold back from not being excited. So Johan, I'll turn it back to you.
Perfect. Gregg, once again, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. I know you guys are busy, you're running like Hitler's chickens, but from the support between you and Brandon, it's unbelievable. If any questions, day or night, I could contact you guys. And to give you guys a bit of context, this morning I was asked, or actually last night I was asked to help another brand partner with a lady that's actually living in Mozambique. She's a Portuguese lady, and she asked for 3 sleeves, and the lady that was helping her didn't have any more stock left. And I went through to them, I gave them 3 sleeves. There was a bit of a hiccup with the payments. Then I called Brandon, and within minutes it was sorted. No problem at all. So yeah, once again, thanks for the availability, first of all. And secondly, from my side, Greg, Brandon, thank you so much for introducing me to this product. It's life-changing, to say the least. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we got a few minutes left, so we'll open up for any questions. I don't always do this, but
Sure, please, sure.
if anybody has any questions specifically, so I don't know, Bridget, if you have any questions or anyone else, but we're telling people, try it, utilize it. The product has a 30-day money-back guarantee even. I said, try it for 30 days, get a 90-day supply, but try for 30 days, and you get your money back if you're not completely satisfied. So I don't know if anyone here has any questions. Not everybody came off the camera, so I don't want to pick on Irene or Laura and everybody else. You can if you want to, but so there's Irene. So Irene, did you have any questions, or anybody else have any questions specifically that I can answer about the product or the business? Go ahead, Irene.
I think it's more about the product. Do you think it can benefit people with cancer?
Yeah, and it's interesting. So the big C word is something that we can't make claims, but we have seen dramatic improvements. So one of the biggest things that it does, and David Schmidt was quoted talking about, he says, the one thing that helps basically, when you think about the spread of cancer, it reduces the spread of cancer and then starts basically actively killing different things that have to do with it. But we can't make claims, but these are different things he talks about that based upon the studies they've seen, all the different markers start improving. What we do recommend for anyone who currently is going through chemotherapy, we say follow the regimen of chemotherapy. Once you're off of chemotherapy, you can start using the patches. Talk to your doctor about it, but 99% of doctors don't know about this product, so we inform them. Not everyone's willing to take a look at it. A lot of homeopathic doctors love it. They're like, this is amazing. Other doctors are kind of like, oh, what can this little patch do? Just like the one Dr. Leland Stillman said. So the answer is can it help? Absolutely, but once again, consider, consult a physician, follow their orders, follow the direction. But again, we've seen some amazing dramatic improvements in that as well. A great question.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all from me.
Great. So I don't know if anybody else has any other questions itself. So I don't know, Bridget or anybody else, got Laura, is it Chandra? So if not, definitely get back with obviously with Johan. You feel free to talk to Brendan. We're available. I tell people all the time, you're going to bed soon. We're up for another, several hours. So, but let us know. But if you say, hey, I'm a number one, we've had people in the chat just go, I'm a number one. That's whatever you want to do. If you say, hey, I'm a number two, number three, just let us know that. We're not pests. We're professionals. So if you say, no, thank you for the opportunity, that's it. And if you want us to send any more information, great. If not, no big deal. But I do appreciate you getting on. And then, like I said, I'll let you back to your evening. Check out the information. This is the info, but definitely reach out to Johan. If you say I'm interested, we can help you get started and literally get the product sometime this week, even probably because it's just Wednesday. I'll probably get it by Friday or Saturday if you do something tonight. So, but pretty simple. Besides that, if you got anything else, otherwise I'll let you go. And then we're here available. So if you say, hey, can you help us out with a couple of things? We're here to help. But I just want to let you know, Johan and Brendan, I call them the dynamic duo, but also Johan's wife is amazing. She's fantastic. We're all working together. My wife is phenomenal. So we're all working together, including all the people we work with, Steve and Gina, Ken and Diana, all the people we work with are here to help. So besides that, I'll say good night, but let us know how we can help out, okay?
Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk soon. Take care.